For 15 years, Sam Taylor lived in the heart of the city, working long hours as a software engineer. He had a comfortable life, but something always felt missing. The hustle and bustle of urban living never quite suited him. He had grown up in the countryside, spending summers on his grandfather's farm, and the dream of owning his own piece of land had never left him. When an unexpected inheritance came his way, Sam saw his opportunity. With careful planning, he found a beautiful 5-acre farmhouse in the outskirts of town. The land was fertile, the house had history, and the possibilities seemed endless. Moving in, Sam wasted no time making the property his own. He restored the old barn, built a chicken coop, and prepared a large vegetable garden. His dream was to create a self-sustaining homestead, complete with fresh produce and free-range eggs. For the first time in years, he felt a deep sense of purpose. The early mornings filled with birdsong, the earthy scent of the soil, and the rewarding work of tending to his land brought him immense joy. Little did he know, however, that his peaceful new life was about to be disrupted. Shortly after settling in, Sam was approached by a woman in a pristine suit, clutching a clipboard with an air of authority. Her name was Karen Wilkins, the president of the local homeowners association, HoA. "Mr. Taylor," she began, flashing a tight-lipped smile, "we need to discuss your membership in the Willow Creek HoA." Sam frowned. "I did some research before I bought this place. My property isn't part of the HoA." Karen's smile didn't falter, but her eyes glinted with something sharper. "Technically, no. But all homeowners in the area are strongly encouraged to join. It keeps the neighborhood looking its best." Sam didn't like the sound of that. "I appreciate the offer, but I like my independence. My farm doesn't really fit the HoA aesthetic anyway." Karen's expression turned frosty. "I hope you reconsider. We have certain community standards that must be upheld." With that, she left, but Sam had the distinct feeling this wasn't over. And he was right. Within a week of refusing to join the HoA, the notices started arriving. First, it was minor things: a warning about his fence not being up to code, a citation for his tractor being visible from the street. Then came the fines: $100 for an unauthorized chicken coop, $250 for excessive noise from his morning farming routine. None of these rules applied to him legally, but the HoA was relentless. Sam decided to ignore them at first. But when Karen and her group started showing up in person, it became clear they weren't just going to go away. One afternoon, as Sam was repairing a section of his barn, he spotted Karen standing at the edge of his property with a few board members. They were whispering among themselves, shaking their heads disapprovingly. "I hope you understand, Sam," Karen called out. "We only want what's best for the neighborhood." Sam wiped his brow. What's best for the neighborhood is leaving people alone to live their lives. Karen's lips pursed. "We'll see about that." The next morning, Sam woke to find his water pressure suspiciously low. A quick inspection revealed that someone had partially shut off his main valve. That same day, his mailbox mysteriously disappeared. When he called the police, they dismissed it as a prank. But Sam knew better. He was being targeted. One evening, as Sam sat on his porch reflecting on the increasing hostility, an older man approached. He was wearing dusty jeans and a flannel shirt, his hands rough with years of labor. Sam had seen him around but had never spoken to him. "Name's Bill Johnson," the man said, offering a firm handshake. "Figured it was time we talked." Sam gestured for him to sit. "You seem to know something I don't." Bill sighed, looking out over the fields. "I've been here longer than most. I've seen what Karen and the HoA do to people who don't fall in line. You're not the first to stand up to them, but you might be the first to fight back." Sam leaned in. "What do you mean?" Bill's expression darkened. "They bully, harass, and intimidate. They've forced families out of their homes, used legal loopholes to seize properties. And when that doesn't work, accidents happen." A chill ran through Sam. "Are you saying they've done something illegal?" "I'm saying you should be careful," Bill said. "You're standing up to a snake, and snakes bite." Sam thanked Bill for the warning, but deep down, he knew he wasn't backing down. If the HoA wanted a fight, he'd give them one. The breaking point came at 2 a.m. Sam woke to the smell of smoke and the distant crackle of flames. Heart pounding, He threw on his boots and ran outside. His stomach dropped. His grandfather's vintage tractor, which he had painstakingly restored, was engulfed in flames. He grabbed his hose and tried to douse the fire, but it was too late. The metal warped under the intense heat, the tires melted into the ground. By the time the fire department arrived, nothing remained but a charred frame. "Looks like arson," one firefighter muttered, kicking at the burnt remains. "You have any enemies?" Sam clenched his fists. "Yeah, a few." His eyes scanned the property. In the distance, standing just beyond the fire trucks, was Karen Wilkins. She wasn't alone. Several HoA board members stood with her, their faces eerily calm. Sam's blood boiled. This wasn't just a power struggle anymore. This was war. Sam knew he couldn't let this go unanswered. It was time to fight back, and he wouldn't stop until the people responsible for destroying his dream were held accountable. Globalization has transformed the economic landscape of nations worldwide. While it has opened doors to new markets, increased trade, and enhanced technological advancements, it has also presented challenges to local economies. Developing countries have often benefited from increased foreign investments, access to global markets, and technology transfer. However, small businesses and local industries frequently struggle to compete with multinational corporations that have extensive resources and economies of scale. One notable example is the manufacturing industry, where global supply chains have shifted production to low-cost labor markets, leading to job losses in high-income countries. While this increases consumer access to affordable goods, it raises concerns about wage suppression and worker exploitation in developing economies. Additionally, globalization has led to cultural homogenization, where local traditions and businesses are overshadowed by dominant global brands. Governments worldwide attempt to mitigate these effects through policies such as tariffs, subsidies for local businesses, and incentives for companies that prioritize domestic production. The challenge remains in striking a balance between fostering economic growth and ensuring sustainable development for local communities. Artificial intelligence, AI, has emerged as one of the most influential technological advancements of the 21st century. AI applications are now integrated into daily life, ranging from personal assistants like Siri and Alexa to advanced predictive analytics in healthcare and finance. AI has revolutionized industries by optimizing processes, reducing costs, and improving accuracy in various tasks. One of AI's most profound impacts is in the medical field. AI-powered diagnostics can analyze vast amounts of medical data to detect diseases earlier and with higher precision than human doctors. In finance, AI algorithms analyze market trends to provide insights that help investors make informed decisions. However, AI also presents ethical and economic concerns. Automation has displaced jobs, leading to fears of widespread unemployment. Ethical dilemmas arise regarding data privacy, bias in AI decision-making, and the potential misuse of AI for surveillance and manipulation. Policymakers and technology leaders must work collaboratively to establish guidelines that ensure AI is developed and used responsibly. Climate change remains one of the most pressing issues of our time, with long-term consequences that threaten ecosystems, economies, and human societies. Rising global temperatures, melting polar ice caps, and increasing frequency of extreme weather events are some of the most visible effects of climate change. The primary driver of climate change is human activity, particularly the burning of fossil fuels that release greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane. Deforestation further exacerbates the issue by reducing the planet's capacity to absorb CO2. Long-term effects include rising sea levels, which threaten coastal cities and small island nations, loss of biodiversity as habitats are destroyed, and disruptions to food production due to changing weather patterns. Economically, climate change can lead to increased costs for disaster relief, infrastructure repair, and healthcare expenses associated with heat-related illnesses and respiratory issues. Solutions to climate change include transitioning to renewable energy sources, implementing sustainable agricultural practices, and enforcing stricter regulations on carbon emissions. Global cooperation, as seen in agreements like the Paris Climate Accord, is essential to addressing this crisis effectively. The education sector has undergone a significant transformation due to digital advancements. The traditional classroom model is increasingly being supplemented, or even replaced, by online learning platforms, virtual classrooms, and AI-driven personalized education. E-learning platforms such as Coursera, Udemy, and Khan Academy have democratized education, making quality learning accessible to students worldwide. Digital tools enable personalized learning experiences where students can learn at their own pace, receive instant feedback, and access a vast repository of educational resources. However, the shift to digital learning also poses challenges. The digital divide remains a significant issue, with many students in developing regions lacking access to reliable internet and technology. Additionally, concerns about data privacy, reduced social interaction, and the effectiveness of online assessments have sparked debates about the future of education. Hybrid models that blend traditional and digital learning are emerging as a viable solution. Governments and educational institutions must ensure equitable access to digital resources while maintaining the benefits of in-person learning experiences. Mental health has gained increasing recognition as a crucial aspect of overall well-being. In recent years, societal attitudes toward mental health have shifted, leading to greater awareness and reduced stigma surrounding mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, and PTSD. The rise of mental health awareness can be attributed to several factors, including increased research, advocacy efforts, and the influence of social media. Celebrities, athletes, and public figures have openly discussed their mental health struggles, encouraging others to seek help and normalize conversations about mental well-being. Despite this progress, mental health challenges remain widespread. The COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated mental health issues, with isolation, economic uncertainty, and health concerns leading to increased cases of anxiety and depression. Workplace stress, social pressures, and the impact of digital consumption on self-esteem further contribute to mental health struggles. Addressing mental health requires a multifaceted approach, including increased access to mental health services, workplace policies that prioritize employee well-being, and educational programs that teach coping mechanisms from an early age. Governments and organizations must invest in mental health infrastructure to ensure that support systems are in place for those in need. Human civilization has undergone a remarkable transformation from its early days as small bands of hunter-gatherers to the vast and complex empires that shaped history. Initially, early humans lived in mobile groups, constantly searching for food and shelter. However, the discovery of agriculture around 10,000 BCE in regions like Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and China allowed humans to settle in one place, leading to the formation of villages and towns. With agriculture came surplus food, enabling specialization in various trades such as pottery, weaving, and metallurgy. This division of labor gave rise to more complex societies, leading to the development of political and religious institutions. Cities like Ur, Babylon, and Thebes became cultural and economic hubs, showcasing the might of human ingenuity. Empires emerged as rulers sought to consolidate power, expand territories, and control resources. The Egyptians built monumental pyramids, the Greeks introduced democracy, and the Romans engineered roads and aqueducts. Each civilization contributed to governance, law, art, and science, setting the stage for modern society. Despite advancements, challenges such as warfare, disease, and environmental changes influenced the rise and fall of civilizations. The collapse of great empires like Rome and the Maya reminds us of the fragility of human progress. Understanding this evolution helps us learn from past mistakes and shape a sustainable future. Technology has become the backbone of modern civilization, influencing every aspect of human life. From the invention of the wheel to the digital age, technological advancements have transformed how we communicate, work, and live. The Industrial Revolution, 18th to 19th century, marked a significant shift as steam engines, mechanization, and mass production reshaped economies. Factories replaced manual labor, urbanization surged, and transportation evolved with the development of railways and automobiles. The 20th century saw the rise of electronics, telecommunication, and computing, paving the way for the information age. Today, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and renewable energy are at the forefront of technological innovation. AI-powered systems improve healthcare diagnostics, self-driving cars redefine transportation, and blockchain revolutionizes finance. However, rapid technological progress raises ethical concerns, including data privacy, job displacement, and environmental impact. As we embrace new technologies, balancing innovation with ethical considerations is crucial. Governments, corporations, and individuals must collaborate to ensure technology benefits society while mitigating potential risks. Globalization has interconnected the world in unprecedented ways, influencing culture, economy, and politics. The rapid exchange of goods, services, ideas, and people across borders has led to economic growth and cultural fusion. Economic globalization has enabled multinational corporations to expand their reach, creating job opportunities and fostering innovation. Countries benefit from trade agreements, foreign investments, and access to global markets. However, globalization also intensifies competition, leading to job outsourcing and income inequality. Developing nations often struggle with exploitation and economic dependence on powerful economies. Cultural globalization has facilitated the spread of languages, traditions, and lifestyles. Western fast food chains, Hollywood movies, and K-pop illustrate how cultures influence one another. While cultural exchange fosters diversity and understanding, it can also lead to cultural homogenization and the erosion of indigenous traditions. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted both the strengths and weaknesses of globalization. Supply chain disruptions, economic downturns, and vaccine distribution inequalities revealed the need for more resilient global systems. As nations navigate globalization, finding a balance between economic growth and cultural preservation is essential for a harmonious world. The planet is facing an environmental crisis, with climate change, deforestation, and pollution posing severe threats to ecosystems and human well-being. The rapid industrialization and excessive consumption of natural resources have led to rising global temperatures, extreme weather events, and loss of biodiversity. Deforestation for agriculture and urbanization reduces carbon sinks, accelerating climate change. Plastic pollution clogs oceans, harming marine life, while industrial emissions contribute to air pollution and respiratory diseases. The depletion of natural resources, including water scarcity, affects millions of people worldwide. Sustainable solutions are crucial to combat environmental degradation. Renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric power reduce dependence on fossil fuels. Reforestation projects, eco-friendly transportation, and waste management initiatives contribute to environmental preservation. Governments, businesses, and individuals must take responsibility for sustainable practices. Policies promoting green technology, carbon neutrality, and conservation efforts can mitigate the crisis. Consumer awareness and lifestyle changes, such as reducing waste and supporting ethical brands, play a vital role in creating a sustainable future. Education is the cornerstone of societal progress, empowering individuals and fostering innovation. From ancient academies to modern universities, education has been instrumental in shaping human civilization. Access to quality education equips individuals with knowledge, critical thinking skills, and opportunities for socio-economic mobility. Literate and educated societies experience lower crime rates, improved healthcare, and higher economic productivity. Nations with strong educational systems, such as Finland and Japan, consistently demonstrate high standards of living and innovation. However, global disparities in education persist. Developing countries face challenges such as inadequate infrastructure, gender inequality, and lack of access to resources. The COVID-19 pandemic further exacerbated educational inequality, with remote learning widening the gap between privileged and underprivileged students. Investing in education is vital for a prosperous future. Governments must allocate resources to improve schools, train teachers, and provide scholarships. Digital learning and technological integration can bridge educational gaps, ensuring that knowledge reaches even the most remote areas. By prioritizing education, societies can cultivate informed citizens, drive economic growth, and foster global cooperation. A world where education is accessible to all is a world with limitless possibilities. Betrayal often comes from those least expected, and for our protagonist, the revelation struck like a thunderbolt. After countless battles, unshakable loyalty, and deep-seated trust, the person they had leaned on the most turned out to be the one orchestrating their downfall. It began with subtle signs, messages intercepted, movements predicted, and allies lost in inexplicable ambushes. The revelation unfolded during a fateful confrontation, deep within the enemy's stronghold. The protagonist had maneuvered their way into the heart of the conflict, expecting a final showdown with their sworn enemy, only to find their most trusted confidant standing beside the foe. A web of deceit unraveled before their eyes, secrets spilled, plans sabotaged, and victories stolen. The protagonist's mind reeled as the weight of deception settled. Was everything they fought for a lie? Yet, betrayal is a double-edged sword, for in revealing themselves, the traitor exposed their hand too soon. Our hero, though wounded by the treachery, was not broken. Instead, this newfound knowledge became the fuel to reignite their determination. With the truth now laid bare, the protagonist had to forge a new path, one that would lead them to not only defeat their enemy but reclaim the trust and honor that had been so cruelly taken. The battleground was set, the stakes higher than ever. This was no mere skirmish or fleeting fight, this was the war that would decide everything. The protagonist, now armed with the painful truth, rallied their remaining allies, their presence a testament to the unbreakable bonds forged in the fires of adversity. The enemy had amassed forces unlike anything seen before, a legion built upon deception, fear, and power. Steel clashed, arrows flew, and the land trembled under the weight of war. The protagonist led the charge, their every movement a testament to their journey. Every step forward was a battle against doubt, against despair, against the overwhelming force that threatened to crush them. But they fought not only with weapons, but with the spirit of all who had stood beside them, all who had given their lives for this cause. In the heart of the battlefield, destiny awaited. The final confrontation with the ultimate foe was inevitable. Blades met, sparks flew, and each strike carried the weight of years of struggle. But it was not brute strength that would determine the victor, it was resolve, strategy, and the unshakable belief in justice. Victory often demands a price, and this war was no exception. As the tide turned in favor of our protagonist, the enemy, cornered and desperate, revealed their trump card, a cataclysmic weapon capable of erasing all in its path. The protagonist was faced with an impossible choice: to save their own life or sacrifice themselves to ensure the survival of their people. The weight of the decision bore down upon them. Flashbacks of every friend lost, every battle fought, every promise made flooded their mind. But deep down, they knew there was only one choice to make. With unwavering determination, they made their final stand. A last, desperate push, not for glory, not for power, but for the hope of a future free from tyranny. As the weapon activated, the protagonists stood firm, their final act one of defiance, of love, of ultimate sacrifice. The explosion shook the battlefield, a beacon of heroism that would be remembered for generations to come. Silence followed the storm. Where once the battlefield had roared with chaos, now there was only the whisper of the wind carrying the names of the fallen. Victory was bittersweet, the war was won, but at what cost? The people who had fought beside the protagonist now stood among the ruins, their leader gone, but their spirit eternal. As the dust settled, the world began to rebuild. The darkness that had once loomed over them had been banished, but scars remained. The protagonist's name became legend, their sacrifice a tale told through generations. Monuments were built in their honor, songs sung of their bravery, and their legacy etched into the hearts of all who survived. But beyond the grand tributes, their true legacy was in the people they had inspired. The war may have ended, but the fight for justice, for peace, was never truly over. Their allies, now leaders in their own right, carried forth the vision they had fought for, ensuring that their sacrifice had not been in vain. From the ashes of destruction, a new dawn rose. The land, once torn apart by war, slowly began to heal. Communities rebuilt, cultures thrived, and hope flourished. The world had been changed forever, not just by the war, but by the hero who had given everything for it. But as one story ended, another began. The protagonist's spirit lived on in those who took up the mantle, in the lessons they left behind. As history turned its pages, new challenges arose, new threats emerged, and new heroes stepped forward, inspired by the one who had paved the way. The final words of the protagonist echoed through time, a reminder that no battle is ever truly lost, that even in the darkest moments, there is always a spark of hope. And so, the story continues, carried forward by those who dare to dream, to fight, and to believe in a better world.